हेलो हाय आदाब और सत श्री अकाल। और फाइनली आज के दिन हम लोगों ने रखा है यहाँ पर आप लोगों के लिए ये शो जिसका नाम है नो योर राइट्स। नो योर राइट्स में दोबारा आज आप लोगों के पास लेकर आया हूँ मैं एक और अलहदा शख्सियत को जो एडवोकेट हैं, वकील तो हैं और उसके साथ साथ बहुत ज़्यादा चीज़ों में अपने आप को अपडेट करते जा रहे हैं, अपग्रेड करती जा रही हैं और भी काफ़ी ज़्यादा चीज़ें जिसके बारे में आज वो हमें बताएंगी। ये शो जैसा कि आपको पता ही है कि अगर आपको आपके इंडिविजुअल राइट्स के बारे में, बेसिक राइट्स के बारे में या किसी भी तरह के राइट्स के बारे में, आपके अधिकारों के बारे में आपको नहीं पता है तो यहाँ पर हम स्कूल ऑफ लॉ से किसी की स्टूडेंट को बुलाते हैं, इनवाइट करते हैं और वो खुद आपको बताते हैं कि किस तरह से कौन से लूप होल होते हैं कानून में या कानून को लेकर जिससे आपको परेशानी में डाला जा सकता है, तो आप प्लीज़ उस परेशानी में ना पड़ें। तो ऐसे ही है आज मेरे साथ यहाँ पर मुस्कान नारंग, जो कि इससे पहले भी काफ़ी ज़्यादा बार आ चुकी हैं और काफ़ी ज़्यादा अच्छा बोलती भी हैं और बहुत ढंग से एक्सप्लेन भी करती हैं। तो डेफिनेटली उनका वार्म वेलकम करते हैं और शुरुआत करते हैं आज उनसे बातचीत इलेक्टोरल बॉन्ड्स पर। मुस्कान, गुड आफ्टरनून, हाउ आर यू?
Hi Arja Abhinav. Thank you so much for the very sweet welcome today, and I am very excited to come here for this interesting topic because this is something which is very recent for our country, something which is impacting all of us on a large scale because as you know that elections are something that is a right of a person to come and give and expect that the elections according to Article 19 of the Constitution are supposed to be fair and legitimate.
Yes,
so if even if let's say if whenever you go to a ballot, whenever you go, and even if let's say 50 political parties have given you a lot of money, but it is your right as a person to go inside and choose whatever political party that you want according to your own choice. So that is something that is included in fair elections, right? So the process of elections, to ensure that these elections are very fair, that they're very right, and every citizen and every country can get exactly what they really want, without any external influence. That is why this issue, especially electoral bonds issue, is something that is very deeply impacted on our history.
Yes, definitely. Even sensitive too.
It is very sensitive, right?
So काफी ज्यादा भूमिका तो खुद मुस्कान ने खुद ही बता दी है। ऐसा लगता है सवालों से पहले ही आंसर्स आ गए। But yeah, definitely we are going to start, and the first question is that what are the criticism and controversies surrounding electoral bonds?
All right, that is a very deep topic. Just to get into that topic, I would like to first introduce that the gravity of the situation. The gravity of the situation is that just to get one electoral bond scheme to be introduced, we had 4 modifications done to 4 different acts, which is the RBI Act, the Companies Act, the IT Act, and the Representation of People Act.
Okay.
So imagine, so this is something which is essentially changing the history of law, the law that we wanted right now.
Oh yes.
And over the span of 5 years, before 5 years from when the law was this electoral bond scheme was introduced. So electoral bond scheme was just introduced as a negotiable instrument, which can be used as in replacement or in addition to a check, to a DD, to other instruments to help political parties in their funding, right?
Definitely.
Now if we talk about the repercussions, the problems that RBI and the Election Commission of India had with this particular scheme, was that first of all the RBI said that why do you want to create another instrument, which is the electoral bond instrument, right? People might stop using money, or the importance of money, the confidence of the public in money would decrease substantially if you do that. So that is one of the very major arguments that was there by RBI. To which, interestingly, jumping to the part of the discussions by the government said, listen, there is nothing like that happening, don't be absurd. Nobody is going to stop thinking about money or replacing money, because the electoral bonds that there are, they are not valid after 15 days. So nobody is going to use money or replace these instruments by using electoral bonds, right? Another part is that only the 29 authorized branches of SBI, not all branches of SBI, but only authorized branches of SBI are allowed to issue these electoral bonds, right?
Okay.
Now the criticism by RBI is that why have you made the SBI, the main issuing authority of this.
Oh.
Why not us? That is the main.
That is the central bank.
Right. So they are saying that why did you not do that? Because so the answer the government, another answer that they gave to this question was that the SBI will have two things to make sure that the purchaser of the bond is somebody who's a legitimate person. First is that they will be doing KYC of that person. Let's say if they do not have a bank account with SBI, then they will be doing a KYC, which makes sure that the identity of the purchaser is noted down. That we know exactly who the person is who is buying it. So let's say if Muskan Narang is going and buying an electoral bond, my identity will not be revealed in the electoral bond. The electoral bond certificate will not have my identity. It will not say that this instrument has been issued to Muskan Narang. It will not say that. Or also, it will also not say that this bond will go to this party. So, in general instruments, like we know about cash, we know about
cash, check, DD,
DD, checks, whatever. So, all of these include the identity of the purchaser somehow. So, let's say even if I am giving you giving a political party cash over 20,000 rupees, then my identity has to be revealed.
Definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
So, but the
they're actually taking care in crores.
Yes, especially then. Just bringing, since you brought up a very interesting point, just bringing another fact to our beloved audiences who would really enjoy this fact is that BJP, especially the ruling party of the country, they the most amount of electoral bonds that they have received have been in the denomination of 1 crore. So these, just for your information, these electoral bonds have denomination starting from minimum 1,000 rupees, going up to 10,000, then 1 lakh, then 10 lakh, and then 1 crore. So BJP is the only political party which has received these denominations in terms of starting from 1 crores. Right. And they have received around 5,200 something crore of electoral bonds starting from, this is till 2023. So we don't know what happened in 2024 and how much they received. So interestingly, so all of these scenarios are there, right? RBI also had another contention that the ECI also had another contention that since I know that I am buying this, right? SBI will know that I, Muskan Narang, am buying this. But that information will only be with the SBI.
With the SBI.
Right? Yes. That information will not be with the government at all or with the authorities.
They can't produce that. You mean to say.
Right. There is no transparency. For me, as the RBI or as the Election Commission, I would not know that whatever...
Someone give the money in the party.
Right, exactly. So the point is that let's say if I am getting it, I am... Even if SBI knows that Muskan Narang has given this electoral bond of, let's say, 5 crores, whatever. So let's say if that is happening, then do you actually know that where am I getting this money from? So did you understand? So let's say if I am giving 5 crores, my name will be there that I have given 5 crores for sure.
How you got that money?
Right. And the problem is you can't even ask me where I got that money from because the electoral bond scheme was protected from the RTI, which is the Right to Information Act.
Oh yes. Okay.
So you can't even So you can't even ask me, Muskan Narang, where did you get these 5 crores to pay this political party? I'll be like, why are you asking me? You're not allowed to ask me. So these are the problems that was related to electoral bonds scheme, especially the major concerns. As soon as in 2017 and 18 this scheme was introduced and brought about, there were so many petitions that the Supreme Court started hearing. Over the course of 4 hearings and around 17-18 different petitions, they finally launched this verdict back in 15 February 2024, saying that this scheme is going to ruin India. It's going to, in loose terms, I'm mentioning that it's going to ruin India. It's going to ruin the fair and
that is not actually transparent.
Right. It's not transparency. The motive of having under Article 19 having fair elections is to have an election procedure where the fact that the election is taking place is fair. The procedure is transparent.
Definitely. Yes. And the important thing is that the next year we are going to have the elections.
Right, exactly. So that is the concern there. That these, but interestingly, as we discussed like pre-shoot, also the major political party, the ruling party of the country, is also the least one which is benefiting from the electoral bonds, because only 53 or 52% of their funding is from the electoral bonds, even though they have the highest funding in the country, which is fair because when Indian National Congress was also in the ruling, because it is the highest ruling the longest
ruling party,
longest ruling party plus the ruling party of the country at that point, it had the most funding. That is very natural for any party which is the ruling party to get the most funding, so which is fair. So you can't put put BJP against a wall for this particular thing. So let's say so that's why everyone was saying that BJP has or the ruling party at that time
the power, they are using it for them and they are taking a lot of money because of that. Actually, it's not true, as you told me.
So very nice observation. It's not true at all, because like if we see the stats, we see that electoral bonds has the least beneficial or the beneficial quality for BJP. Right. Yes. So it's very interesting. I think all of these concepts, once you actually start getting into these, you will understand that the country is like the country really values privacy. So as the Supreme Court also said, there is beauty in privacy. So it really feels that privacy is something that is to be protected. But since the question here was also that
it's about actually democracy and the country, so that's why they said that you should be transparent in this case with the electoral bonds and the donation.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Going forward, how do the electoral bonds impact the level playing field for political parties during elections? Not before the elections, but during elections.
Right. So, to ensure a level playing field, I would say, since we already discussed about how different political parties get their funding, right?
Yes.
These the problem here is that all of these other fundings, which is checks, DDs, all of them can be asked, can have the name of the purchaser, and they can be investigated. The funds can be investigated. So let's say if I am giving you, if I am receiving a check from somebody, then as a political party, then I am supposed to share what amount of funding I got, what level of funding I got, at what time did I get that funding from these instruments. So the problem here is that they're changing the instruments. The instrument has been changed just to ensure that there is no accountability to these private companies. Right. So just to bring out another topic, let's say the major contention was that the private companies are going to use these schemes this is going to be used for private corporate intent over the needs and the rights of the people. So just as let's say if I am a private company and I have a lot of like I'm giving this political party, let's say ABC political party, I'm giving them a lot of money, right? So it might happen that some of these policies are altered so that they can favor my company. Right. Definitely,
and you will also jump out from the income tax.
Right.
So you will show it there definitely that I am giving the money in the donation.
Right. So what used to happen before, Abhinav, was that there was a 7.5% cap on the last 3 years of average profit of a company. Okay. So let's say the financial year, the previous 3 financial years, the average of their profits, 7.5% of those profits. Okay. So let's say if there is 99, 97 and 103. So all of these, the company has earned this amount of profit in rupees. So the average of this will be 100, right? So like the 100 rupees that is the average of the last 3 years, 7.5% of that, which is 7.5 rupees, will be the cap, the maximum that they can give to this political party as funding, or any political party as funding.
Yes.
They can even divide this 7.5 rupees into 5 different political parties funding. So they can do only that. Right now, with the electoral bond scheme, what happened was that the cap was removed completely. So a company can give 100% of their profits, except 7.5%, 100% of their profits to maximum 100% of their profits to a political party funding. So now the problem here is, one of the things that was observed as a flaw of this was that a few people were forming shell companies, and they were putting their black money in the shell companies.
Oh yes, definitely.
Right.
It's becoming white in that way.
Right.
And that's why Supreme Court came in between and they said that please show the transparency to the country, because it is the right of the democracy.
Right.
Right of the people to know about that.
Right. So this is basic concept of quid pro quo, which is a legal maxim which says that, which basically in layman's term.
You mentioned it earlier also in other show. Please explain it to me.
Right. So in a layman's term, because a lot of our audiences are not as smart and educated as you are, or interested in these topics.
But actually even I don't know quid pro quo.
Right. Quid pro quo, it means basically, if I tell you the meaning of this Latin maxim in layman terms, it's basically you scratch my back, I will scratch yours. So the concept here is that, let's say if I do something nice for you, you do something nice for me.
Definitely.
That is the concept.
Give and take.
Give and take, basically. So since that is one of the things that companies are doing and private companies are benefiting out of, the major concern is that maybe the needs and the wants of general public will not be satisfied. Because the policies might favor these private companies over the needs and the rights of these people.
That's why actually they are saying it.
Right.
If we don't have any privacy about that, I mean we don't have any transparency about that.
Right.
The main thing is that. Okay. The third question is that काफी कुछ वैसे मुस्कान ने कहा है, बहुत explain किया है, but what reforms or improvements could be made to the electoral bond system to address its shortcomings?
That is a very interesting question, because that is a question that makes us look in the future more than in the past. So it's a very interesting question, Abhinav. So just to mention another aspect that we missed out on was about how foreign contribution was not counted in the electoral bonds. So let's say before this, if a foreign company or a foreign individual was giving these electoral bonds any sort of funding to a political party, then that was accounted for and that had to be presented in books. But with the electoral bonds, there was no cap on what foreign contributions are there. So let's say if any XYZ company is trying to give money or political funding to the ruling party of the country, it might happen that their relations or their dealings with the foreign policies might help them achieve, more for that country or less for our own country. So let's say a classic example would be about exporting. So let's say if we have a limited supply of a certain good here, but because we had gotten foreign contributions from X country, which was low on rice, let's say, and we were sending all our rice to that country because of our policies, then that would mean for a common man in India, that would mean increase in the price of rice here. Even though we are producing a lot of rice, but why am I paying more for the rice here? Is because my country is exporting rice to another X country.
Yes, definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
So because of that only, foreign contribution needs to be accounted for when it comes to political ruling. Political funding. So since we are talking about the future, I would say that the alternative would be to ensure that instead of private funding, which is coming from individuals or coming from companies, private companies, I would say that public funding is something that really helps, because it is very important to note down, Abhinav, that it is that a political party gets majority of its funding from outside only. It's not like they can't source it from inside, right? They need a lot of public support also. So let's say instead of making it private funding, which can ensure private motives and policies or influence them, then we can go for public funding. So I would suggest that we can make like a national election fund where all of the total political donation will be unbiased. So let's say if I feel like giving 1 crore and you feel like giving 5 crores to any political company, to any political party. So what can happen is that we can pool all of this into the national election fund. So let's say if you and I gave 6 crores in total, that will be in the national election fund, and according to whichever the performance, the poll performance of a political party, we can distribute the money accordingly. So let's say if BJP gets the highest polls, which it will because it's the ruling party.
Oh, definitely. So they will get more money.
Right. So they will get more money, and the one which is not getting more. So basically, the Janta, the people get to decide how much money from the election fund should go to the political
BJP.
parties.
Or the political party who is winning.
Right. No, even just like the distribution I'm talking about. So let's say if you and I have pooled our money and we have collected 6 crores, right? So let's say if there are 5 different political parties, but let's say party 1 is the best one, is the one which has
majority,
and the rest 4 are like ranging in the last, let's say 40% of the polls, right? So what will happen is that 60% of the election fund will go to party A or party 1,
and 40% to the party B, C and 3.
Right.
They will distribute it.
Exactly. Understand.
Okay. ठीक ठाक समझ लेता हूँ मैं ऐसी बात नहीं. So there was definitely a long chat, but yes, a final question from my side, and the question is that, so will it affect the election which is actually going to come in 2025? What do you say about that?
This is one of the classic cases where Supreme Court has taken the reins of democracy back. They have told the country that the democracy is not on sale. That you can.
Especially जो चंडीगढ़ में भी हो ही चुका है इससे पहले मेयर इलेक्शन.
Exactly. उन्होंने जो बिठा के उनकी अच्छी तरह खातिरदारी की है.
क्लास भी उन्होंने कहा you can't do that definitely. इनके ऊपर पहले केस चलाओ.
Exactly. So the democracy has been upheld by the ideals of democracy have been upheld by the Supreme Court, saying that the democracy is not on sale. It is not something that somebody can buy, be it a private company, be it a foreign contributor.
Yes.
It is so the fact that electoral bond scheme has been eliminated altogether really will help the elections in making them fair and transparent, and that is, I think, the future and the ideals that the future generation will see, and also the future voters of India.
Oh, definitely, very well, nicely explained, मुस्कान थी हम लोगों के साथ यहाँ पर, जिन्होंने इलेक्ट्रल बॉन्ड्स पर काफी ज्यादा बातें हमें बताई, नो योर राइट्स में, और बहुत दिनों के बाद आपको एक बहुत ही ज्यादा मजबूत और अच्छा एपिसोड देखने के लिए और सुनने के लिए मिल गया. तो हम दोबारा से आप लोगों के साथ बने रहेंगे 90.4 मेगाहर्ट्ज कम्युनिटी रेडियो पर. एंड थैंक यू वेरी मच मुस्कान कि यहाँ पर आप आए और आपने काफ़ी ज़्यादा चीज़ें हमें बताई इलेक्ट्रल बॉन्ड्स के बारे में, एंड एक्चुअली यू एक्सप्लेन इट वेरी नाइसली और सरल सहज भाषा में, जिससे लोगों को भी वो कम से कम समझ में आ जाए. थैंक यू सो मच. स्टे विद.
थैंक यू सो मच आते अभिनव.